So, how's the review coming along?
It's alright. Part of my problem is that I pretty much already looked at this.
What about the Blu-ray itself? That could be interesting.
Yeah, but I don't think I have enough content.
Why not review one of the movies? The O2 film looks interesting.
Trust me, it's not.
Okay, it's clear you don't want to do this. How about me and the horse, pony, whatever, review this? Give us a little challenge.
You sure?
Look, we all know the next review is Battletech, and Irby is currently getting restless.
What do you mean?
Well... Fuck off, you giant trash can! Your show doesn't even have a Blu-ray!
Alright, fine. I trust you two can do this. Guess while I'm out, I'm gonna get the Transformers movie DVD, maybe even the G.I. Joe one as well?
Go, you human! Go and review some 90s cartoons. Alright, let's get this over with. This can't be that bad. So back in 2022, this channel did a review of the Digimon movie. It was a weird mix of the American and Japanese cuts. Review did so well that EJ did a video that cited it called Breaking Down the Charmingly Absurd Digimon the Movie. Citing the review as being a bit generous, more like they brought up our attempt to contact SAG. Long story short, it went nowhere, such is life. Regardless, the review left on a note that chances are a re-release of the English movie and Japanese cuts probably wouldn't happen. Guess what happened?
That one didn't age quite so well.
Yeah, who would have thought a year later Discotek would announce the Blu-ray release of the movies? And we do mean movies, plural. In addition to getting the Japanese cuts of the films on Blu-ray for the first time for Western audiences, we also received a completely new dub of these films with most of the original cast returning. And what's more, the American film was also included.
Yes! 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 Oh! 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 Oh, God. Oh.
I'll have what she's having.
So yeah, this was kind of shocking. Congrats everyone, we can now throw away our Malaysian bootlegs of the movies. I mean, we still have the other films. Shit. So yeah, this is kind of a review of the Blu-ray, ups, downs, and whatnot. We'll also look at the O2 film. While it might seem like a good idea to look at the OVA and our war game, the plotline of those two films aren't too different from the American release. It also doesn't help that finding jokes for those films is basically retreading what we already did. Going right ahead and revealing that, sure, but regardless, the O2 reveal will be kind of an abridged and more of a summary. Regardless, time code for those interested to see that review. What about spoiler warnings? This is the spoiler warning. Oh. Anyway, let's start with Discotek. So Discotek is a relatively new company starting operations in 2005. They gained a reputation for releasing a lot of retro anime. They also use the SD Blu-ray format for anime that have no HD masters. They also have a reputation of using unusual sources for their masters. So now that the Wikipedia summary is complete, we'll now look into our history with the company. Prior, we did use their Sonic X release for review purposes. At the time, the lack of Japanese dub came as a shock as we kind of expected this to be standard. We have since learned that the Japanese dub is a separate Blu-ray. We suspect that this is done to shows where the English dub has some major changes to the source material. This is understandable to an extent. We still would have liked the Japanese dub as part of the package. On the other hand, we also realize that this would have added a lot of discs to the package. We can attest from using the Digimon 4-season box set that messing with 8 DVDs a season is a hassle. Regardless, going into this we were a little concerned over how Discotek would handle this release. And we can say that they knocked it out of the park. Right from the get-go, the inclusion of animated menus and Butterfly as background music tells us that effort was put into presenting this release. Compared to the early American DVD and the Malaysian bootlegs, this is definitely the way to watch these movies. Well, we'll get to that soon enough. Right from the get-go, you'll notice two options, the uncut films and the American combined film. For the purposes of this review, if we say English dub, we're referring to the Discotek release. And if we say American dub, we're referring to the 2000 movie. It should be noted this collection is 3 films, and we don't mean the OVA, our war game, and the O2 film. Really, this Blu-ray is the American dub, the Japanese original cut stitched together one film after the other, and the new English dub that is also stitched together one film after the other. So while you can select which of the 3 Japanese or English cuts to watch, it's more like a chapter select, which is alright for the most part. Anyway, all 3 options have been remastered in HD, so there is that. As for the English dub, it's impressive. It's not a one-to-one recreation of the Japanese dub in English, rather it's more of a what-if situation. What if the original release of the American film followed the original plot of the films while also adding in familiar elements from the show, with some familiar jokes from the American movie preserved?
was sleeping.
But you're driving! Did you see that?
No, I was sleeping.
But you're driving!
It's well done, and it really feels like this could have been released back in the day. It also helps that most of the voice actors have returned, making this feel even more authentic. We are sad at the loss of many of the actors. That being said, the replacement actors did a good job. As for the returning actors, they did an amazing job. We were worried about Joshua Seth as Ty, as his voice during the OVA sounded a bit aged, but as we watch the films, this seems to have been a creative choice for the OVA, as Joshua's voice doesn't sound too different. We can only assume that Ty in the OVA is an adult Ty. On the other hand, we are worried about Roger Smith, Ghost Freak, Steve Blum. It does sound like age is catching up to him. We also feel that the voice direction for Gargomon and Golden Rapidmon is off.
I go Pillage!
I have to protect Willis. But who is Willis?
Regardless, this is a well done cast. How well, you ask? During the OVA, specifically during the truck gag, we thought that the Discotek release reused audio from the original film. Now, we have been told none of the original audio was reused. If that is the case, after 20 years, these actors still have it, and that is impressive. While on the subject of audio, we do miss some of the sound effects and music. It's not too bad for the OVA and our war game, but well, let's just say the O2 film needs some help with its music. But that's why we have the O2 movie review. Moving along, we have some extra content. There's not much here. We have the Japanese trailers, some Japanese interviews, a gallery of the Japanese posters, a gallery from the reference art book, bloopers for the English cut, and a video which is either a recap for the American film or with some promotion for the TV show.
Go Digi-Grow!
The fuck? Oh yeah, that was a catchphrase. This wasn't in the show! Yeah, but you need that brand recognition.
Go Digi-Grow!
Shut it! Anyway, this is all quite a good package. But like many things, it's not perfect, and we do have some notes for Discotek. We'll start small and go from there. For starters, while the extras are nice, they seem to be more geared towards showing off the Japanese content at the expense of the American, and to an extent the English dubs. For instance, the trailers for the Japanese movies are included, which is nice, but we do feel it would have been a more complete package if the theatrical trailer for the American film and the teaser trailer for the Discotek Blu-ray was included. We do understand the omission of the American theatrical trailer, as no doubt rights issues came into play. Still, given that the American film is in here with its soundtrack, it does feel like it wouldn't have been too big of an issue. As for the Discotek trailer, it would have been nice to preserve for historical purposes. Same with the movie poster gallery. We would have liked to see that infamous poster in the gallery and maybe even the box art for the Blu-ray. Given that the art of the American film is not used on the Blu-ray, there's no doubt some issues with copyright. This might also explain the omission of the next two items. You see, in the American film there are two things that are not present here. These are the Angela Anaconda short at the start and the Len cover of Kids in America music video at the end. The omission of the Angela Anaconda short is understandable. Discotek wanted to include the short in the film but ran into a wall due to rights issues. As it turns out, Angela Anaconda is owned by a different rights holder, hence the omission. The fact that Discotek was willing to include the short is commendable, and we do wish more studios went out of their way on these things. What we don't understand is the omission of the Kids in America music video. Given the amount of music present in the American film, it seems like something was negotiated. The song is present in the credits, but not the music video. Then again, this might be a GTA situation where the licenses could not be negotiated. I don't know, this feels like the Thing remaster situation. You know how After Me from Salvia was omitted? Still a license situation. Regardless, these omissions don't detract too much from the overall package, we just kind of wish they were present. Moving to the films, we start to question what Discotek was doing. See, the original American film, or at least the DVD, came with the option to have the film audio played in either Audio 2.0 or Dolby 5.1. This has been kept in the Blu-ray. We don't know how many people watch the Digimon movie in Dolby 5.1, but okay. Closed captioning is also present, but only in English. The Spanish closed captioning is not present. Okay. We suspect this is not present due to customer base. This whole package seems to be geared towards English speakers. On the other hand, we would argue there are more viewers who would use the Spanish closed captioning than Dolby 5.1. But it gets weirder when we look at the uncut films. As expected, you get both the Japanese and English cuts with signs translated for viewers. We even get translated lyrics for the songs, which is a nice touch. What gets odd is the lack of English subtitles for the English dub. The Japanese cut features subtitles as a translation, which we like. There's no such option for the English dub, sorta. If you're looking for subtitles for any reason, your only option is to use the Japanese translated subtitles. And even then, this isn't really accurate since the English dub is new and not a one-to-one translation of the Japanese dub.
Did Did you see that?
No, I was sleeping.
But you're driving!
Discotek made this dub, so they know what is being said. They have no excuse omitting this, but at the very least you have the Japanese translated subtitles. Except not really. The only way we could get these subtitles was through a use of a setting in Power DVD. We don't know if this is possible on a standard player. Discotek, it is 2025. There should be an option for subtitles. The American film has them, and that came out over 20 years ago. And while we're at it, we should not be relying on the Japanese translated subtitles. That may have been standard practice back in the day, but things have changed, especially on a dub that you made. So with that all being said, what is our opinion on the Blu-ray? We highly recommend it. This Blu-ray was always going to be a Herculean task, lots of rights issues and whatnot, but Discotek pulled through. Not only do we have an easy way to watch the Japanese cut and American film, but we have a new English dub for the Japanese films. This alone is impressive and worth getting. We are disappointed at the lack of things like the Angela Anaconda short and music video. However, we can kind of understand why they've been omitted. What we can't understand is why items like the 5.1 audio option for the American film is present, while its Spanish closed captioning isn't, or why the English cut lacks proper support for English subtitles. We hope in the future this can be rectified. But despite these problems, this is still a Blu-ray we recommend, if only because of how unlikely it was to come into existence. This rebuilds our trust in Discotek, and it has us look forward at getting their Blu-rays of the Digimon series, both in English and Japanese. Indeed, especially the next movie collection. Oh yeah, that's right. See, technically this Blu-ray is Digimon the Movies Collection 1, and while we would have loved to have seen the Revenge of Diaboromon present, it's clear this collection was to address the American in the room. We suspect that there will be at least one more Blu-ray containing Revenge of Diaboromon, Battle of Adventurers, Runaway Locomon, Island of Lost Digimon, and Digimon Saver the Movie. With the exception of Digimon Savers the Movie, these films have already been dubbed thanks to Disney when the shows ran on Jetix. The Savers film will need a new dub unless Discotek goes the route of just providing the Japanese dub. We also suspect that this will include the two 3D films, but those might be omitted due to rights issues. As for X Evolution, frankly we kind of want to see that get its own Blu-ray. And we aren't saying that being Doromon and Commandromons are controlling the camera. Rather, it's a big film and worthy of a separate release. But you never know. Regardless, we are looking forward to see what Discotek will do moving forward. And with that, our review of the Blu-ray is complete. On to the O2 film. Yeah, the O2 film. This is going to be a long day. Why did we agree to this? So our film begins in a field, specifically 7 years before the start of O2, chronologically at the same time as the OVA. Things are doing alright for this child and his two Digimon, until this wind appears. And weirdly atmospheric guitar music plays. The kid turns back, calling out to Kokomon, who has vanished. Oddly, this was not the only misfortune to happen at that field that day.
Why?
We skip to the present day of O2, right after the Digimon Emperor is defeated. Not important, but okay. Where the O2 kids are having fun while the OG cast is just doing things. Also the best music in this film. Trust us. TK and Kari are in New York with Mimi. When the bloody wind returns. Suddenly the OG kids disappear. TK and Kari are confused at this.
I just heard a crying Digimon.
Okay, we think this is a dub thing because as far as we can tell, Kari never had this sensory stuff in the show. Well, she did have that Chosen One thing in Adventure and the Dark Ocean stuff in O2. I highly doubt this is a result of that. So this boy Willis, yes, they keep the name Willis, is having a fight with Wendigomon.
Oko Crusher!
The fuck is this music? Yeah, it doesn't get better. Wendigomon gives up after Willis reminds the Digimon he is Willis. Before TK and Kari can help, Willis runs off. Also something about Kari hearing Tai. Again, this might be something from the original dub of the anime. Meanwhile, in Hell, or, well, Purgatory, the OG digi-destiny are held for some reason. They can only hope the O2 cast can save them.
Davis!
Patamon does some scouting and finds Willis, and overhears the kid going on about a place called Summer Memory, wherever that is. Also neat that they kept in the translation for Japanese audiences. Not necessary for English speakers, but hey, it's still nice. The O2 cast is called in, and thanks to frequent flyer miles, yes, that's the explanation, the group are able to do one of the greatest things ever.
I go to America!
But because they are kids, they have no money, so they have to resort to hitchhiking. Cody does the smart thing and advertise that they have monster energy.
I guess this guy is just the lunatic we needed.
Yeah, I suppose. Maybe we shouldn't have gone
Kids are from Japan, Ron Charles McCall. Yeah, that's great, mister.
Could have been worse. Back to Willis. He and Terriermon hitch a ride on a train while the two discuss what's going on and, I'm sorry, who's this woman? No, seriously, this film cuts to this woman like 3 times. Why is she important? Is she Renamon or something? And then the screen becomes a courtroom sketch, and then the two are walking and meeting up with the Ultramarines from the Ultramarine movie, who are walking. Like, this is the famous Terriermon hat scene, and it's just walking. I mean, it's a nice watercolor, but it's just walking. Technically, there is some importance here since Terriermon and Willis are talking about going to Summer Memory to maybe get to Kokomon, and maybe Kokomon is Wendigomon, but it's just so slow. We then return to Kari and TK, who are heading in that direction as well. We also learn the other group is heading there as well, but took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. And then Wendigomon appears and kidnaps everyone, supposedly. In actuality... Hello everyone, this is your conductor speaking. We would like to apologize to the only 2 Japanese kids riding on our train. Unfortunately, due to budget cuts, your tickets do not cover the operation of this train. We would say that we're sorry for stopping in the ass end of nowhere, but you should have known no one uses Amtrak. Amtrak, you should have flown KLM, motherfuckers. So the other group continues on their tour of America, Mazda, and Davis becomes an unhappy simp when he learns that they've been going in the wrong way. But because of the power of love, our plot conveniences, the group meets up with Willis and Terriermon. Everyone introduces one another.
My name's Willis, and you said your name's Yoli, didn't you? I love your hair, it's real pretty.
Friendly reminder, he learned Japanese because of a girl. We think he has a type. Davis and Willis get separated from the rest of the group, giving us an excuse to use more Char's counterattack memes.
Lala Soon was a young woman who may very well have become a mother to me.
We cut back to the OG cast who have de-aged even more. But don't worry, this isn't too important. But what is important is Amaru and Char, I mean Davis and Willis, having a moment over mother issues.
Lala Soon was a young woman who may very well have become a mother to me.
Stop it was funny once, move on. This comes to an end as Kokomon returns. Vmon digivolves, Wendigomon is too much, Terriermon becomes the Second Amendment, and Willis calms things down by telling Kokomon they'll meet again. We also get an important revelation that the OG cast are being held in Kokomon's memories.
I get it.
I don't get it.
As Davis and Willis plan their next move, Vmon and Terriermon play.
Okay, I see your point.
What is with all the KLM stuff? Did they have an advertising agreement or something? Noting the amount of damage the fighting has caused, Davis digivolves Vmon into Rageramon and the group heads off, ending part 1. Part 2 begins and everyone reunites. There's still a lot of questions the party has for Willis. Through context clues, we learn that Kokomon misses Willis, specifically the younger Willis. It's also tracking Willis through the Digivice. Long story short, Willis is hoping that returning to the field, Kokomon will be healed. Basically, his plan is to go to Summer Memory and do this.
Kokomon,
I'm doing something extremely wicked. If you're nearby, feel my presence.
The group rides in a truck and, that's an abrupt cut. You sure this is the uncut version? Yeah, what the hell? So Davis and Willis talk with one another. Willis explains that Wendigomon is his partner Digimon since Terriermon and Kokomon are twins. One day the three were playing when Kokomon just disappeared. It's never explained how. Personally, I prefer the American film where they say Diaboromon was responsible, which is funny because even the PSP game references that. Davis starts to understand why Willis is so hesitant to fight Wendigomon and begins to cry. Willis comforts Davis and Davis just kinda snaps out of it, starting to think the American film is closer to this than we thought. Willis then gives some choice words for Davis.
you're a really straightforward guy, aren't you?
That's why I'm the leader of my team.
I meant that in an insulting, derogatory way, if that wasn't clear. You weren't supposed to agree.
On a serious note, Davis and Terriermon tell Willis he is not alone, that they're all friends. Willis agrees.
Alright, let's head back. I want to see more of Yoli's pretty sleeping face.
Lala Soon was a young woman.
Shut it! So Davis heads back and what the hell, we have another jump cut. It's just as bad as the American film! So at the field, the party waits. Kokomon, for their part, checks their memories as the OG digi-destiny are now super young. But since none of them are Willis, Kokomon returns to reality. For a brief moment, it appears that Willis is able to get to Kokomon. But because time has passed and Shibuthesis paradox, Willis is unable to go back to that time, instead suggesting that they start from scratch. Wendigomon takes it well. Wendigomon digivolves, Terriermon digivolves, Char asks Amaru to put Kokomon down, and the other Digimon digivolve, and the beatnik bar begins playing back in music. This music is so bad. So the group is able to outnumber Kokomon.
Playtime is over. You may have brute force. Even so, we shan't lose to you.
The Emperor protects.
But having a loaded bolter never hurt either.
And I'm here too!
But Kokomon then retreats.
Holy he's gone.
It's amazing that they made the bloopers work. The world starts to change, except for the crappy background music. Everyone wonders where they are, with Yoli positing that this might be a memory. So basically Death Stranding. Yeah, this does seem like something Kojima would do. Kokomon returns as the clown motherfucking Cherubimon.
I suppose you think I shouldn't have a gun either!
Cherubimon de-digivolves the Digimon and begins toying around with the rookies before reminding the group who is in charge of this place. Willis tries to stop Cherubimon, Cherubimon tries to take Willis, and Terriermon continues to fight. We then get a touching scene with the kids and their Digimon.
Pokemon! Hang in there!
Yoli, you're joking me.
And after all this, Willis decides to actually fight, because apparently he now realizes Kokomon is no longer there or something. Really, it's shocking this took so long. It also implies Cherubimon is something other than Kokomon, which even further makes us think the American film did this better. So the Digimon continue the fight despite the odds, but it's clear this is a losing battle. But then Angemon and Angewomon arrive, signaling that TK and Kari have arrived. Somehow. Look, we're almost done with this, just roll with it. Cherubimon breaks down, sending the fight into the next stage. Again, the world changes, this time to suit Cherubimon. Something Kojima. Cherubimon returns and the attack continues.
Davis, what happened to you?
Davis, you're a baby! Who are you calling a baby, Mama's boy? Ah, I'm a baby, look!
So yeah, the kids have been de-aged. Angemon and Angewomon plead to Kari and TK to digivolve into Mega, and in their words, we should be able to summon something. Summon what, Joe Hendry?
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Hey, the script says summon what? Machu from Gundam G-Quooks? Best you're getting is Char from the PS1 game, and then we're supposed to show that Char laughing? Why are we changing it? Ah. So again, we get to see Gatomon's and Patamon's Mega, technically for the first time because, you know, but because this is Kari and TK's movie, Davis and Willis get the Digi-Eggs of Miracles and Destiny. Trademark Bungie. Vmon and Terriermon digivolve into Magnadramon and Golden Rapidmon, putting the hurt on Cherubimon.
We did it!
Shocking. So everything seems lost, especially since the touchy-feely song starts to play. But the kids don't give up, motivating the Eaten Digimon to keep going.
Even when things are their darkest, you must have faith. I always kept hope I'd find Kari, deep in my heart, even when my mind had given up.
Yes, that's right, Gatomon. Even the darkest of hearts will always still hold on to hope.
This is one of those scenes. We're almost done, man. So the kids are able to get through to Magnadramon and Golden Rapidmon, who find Wendigomon. Through superior firepower, they're able to cleanse the darkness from the Digimon. Cherubimon returns normal before disappearing. Willis cries and Terriermon says this.
We killed him. Oh yes, we did.
Again, these bloopers are hilarious. No, Terriermon consoles Willis and the battle comes to an end. Davis consoles Willis by saying he's sure Kokomon will return. Spoiler, no he won't. But Kokomon appears in Last Evolution. I reject that film and substitute it with my own headcanon! Okay, sure, we can do that. Everyone returns to New York, which makes no sense as we get confirmation that the OG kids are safe. Willis promises to visit Japan one day, though continues on his self-discovery for now, and steals a kiss from Yoli and Kari. Rule of 3, we're done! And the film ends with Willis talking with his mom on the phone, KLM, to which another Digi-Egg is found. We end on a watercolor of Willis looking sad as he now realizes he has to take care of 2 of these things. You know, we joke about this, but what the hell is this picture? Just look at it. Why is Terriermon the only one happy? Why is Willis sad? Why does Luopmon look like they're about to be shot? What is this? And that is the O2 Digimon film. Which, what the hell is this? This film, look, we don't have much to add. Most of what we have to say was already said in the Digimon movie review, and if we're completely honest, we feel that the American cut is a bit better. So much of this film is just stretches of nothing. It's like padding for time, and the music is just, well, it's atmospheric, but fuck, it's bad. We understand trying to be artistic, but come on. Really, our biggest complaint with this film is just how slow it feels.
It's hot. It's hot.
Making some cuts here and there while changing the soundtrack might fix this. That being said, we do appreciate the dialogue, if it does seem to come off as being artsy at times.
I care so much about you guys, my family, but I've been blinding myself to the truth. There's no part of Kokomon in you anymore. It's you who did this to Kokomon. He was trapped all alone, and he tried so hard in his loneliness. But you took his heart and locked it away from him.
We joke about the Kojima thing, but it's really not that bad. It's trying to be atmospheric, and we don't think it works here. Other than that, it's an okay film. Nice artwork, the actors did a good job, but that doesn't really save the film. Honestly, we kind of recommend skipping this one or watching the American film. But hey, at least the uncut version is available thanks to Discotek. And with that, the viewers have gotten the pitchforks. Yup, we're gonna do anything about that? Nah, that's for Walter to deal with. Yeah, might as well. And with that we say, like and subscribe. And we'll see the angry mob in the next review. Bye!